private hospitals overcharge patients. A report by the National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority looking at bills from 4 private hospitals in New Delhi says yes, and an emphatic yes, because sometimes these hospitals overcharge by 900%. The report is a scathing indictment of how desperate patients are taken for a ride by unscrupulous hospitals, from using unscheduled drugs to get higher margins to inflating prices of drugs and even equipment several times over. It seems these private hospitals will stop at nothing to fleece patients. Sample this. A tablet that cost the stockist 346 rupees sold to the patient for over 42,000 rupees. Bed bath wipes costing 33 rupees sold for nearly 5,000 rupees. Now, this report has been out in the public domain for a few days now, but it's unlikely that you've heard a hue and cry about it. Isn't it important? And how do hospitals get away with this? To speak on this, I'm joined today by Satish Tyagi. He is Honorary State Secretary at the Delhi Medical Association, and Malini Aisola, co-convener of the All India Drug Action Network. Thank you so much to both of you for speaking with us this evening. Mr. Tyagi, can you explain how this happens? Is it a collusion between hospitals, their boards, and doctors?
See, I am speaking on behalf of Delhi Medical Association. And first thing I would like to point out, yes, doctors have to do nothing with this pricing, because this pricing is not under control of the doctors, and doctors have no business to control the hospital procurement and their pricing. Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, you are, sir.
So this question better should have been asked to those person and the industry. I'll call it industry because the corporate houses are running the hospitals like an industry. They have a procurement department, they have finance department who are controlling and who are managing all these business issues regarding finances. And doctors' participation as far as these pricing are concerned is none. So just I want to make it clear on behalf of Delhi Medical Associations that doctors have nothing to do with this business, but at the same time we are not in favor of such a business because it is defaming the profession as such.
Dr. Tyagi,
because doctors are the face of the hospitals.
I agree, and I get your point, but may I please read from the report? And the first point in the report and the finding of the report says it is amply clear that for claiming higher margins, doctors dash hospitals preferred prescribing and dispensing non-scheduled branded medicines instead of scheduled medicines which are supposed to cover all essential medicines. Sir, the NPPA in this report has found doctors also taking part in it very actively, because they say doctors prefer prescribing non-scheduled medicines which are not capped, unlike scheduled medicines which have been capped since 2013, under which all generic drugs are available.
See, I totally disagree as far as this statement. These doctors are also part of the system and they are participating in this procurement and prescription, because the prescription may be from the doctors, but sometimes you need certain combination of the drugs and which are essential or required by the patients. In a particular disease or symptoms, sometimes you need a combination which may be prescribed. But the doctors are prescribing such combination just to favor such an exuberant profit by the hospital. I don't agree with this statement.
All right, that is
secondly,
that is what the NPPA has found.
There should be a definite control. And see what DMA says, Delhi Medical Association and the medical association say there should be some check on all these issues, because taking so much of profit from the medicines is totally nobody can favor it and nobody can support it. And particularly the doctors are totally opposing. As an association man, I totally oppose such kind of practices.
Sure, let's give some examples of what kind of inflation NPPA has found and how prices have been inflated by hospitals. They say in collusion with doctors. The Delhi Medical Association says no, but let's tell our viewers about it. For example, this report says an Amlip 5 mg tablet has a margin on price to stockist of 438%. A normal 500 ml saline bottle has a margin on price to stockists of 680%. Look at the charges. Something which costs 16 bucks is billed to the patient at 652 rupees. And it's not just consumables like this. They've given examples of medicines. There is a medicine called MTIG 50. It's an injection which costs the stockist 346 rupees. It's billed to the patient at 42,476 rupees. Malini Aisola, what do you have to say about this? You're co-convener of the All India Drug Action Network, and you know, I want to just read out one bit where NPPA finds drug manufacturers are also a part of the collusion, where they say, and I quote from the report, drug variants of scheduled medicines launched by manufacturers in the name of new drugs and fixed dose combinations in order to come out of price control have become the preferred choice for manufacturing and medical fraternity. They say that you keep manufacturing new drugs which are essentially the same so that you can charge more. Manisha.
So just as you mentioned, the NPPA in this report, I think what this report does is acknowledges that there are severe deficiencies with the way that medicine prices are being regulated under the Drug Prices Control Order. So basically, this is the regulation under which essential medicines or scheduled medicines are controlled. And even here, the regulator is basically acknowledging that there are many escape hatches whereby pharmaceutical companies are able to make medicines that either fall outside this list of essential medicines or are making minor changes to the medicines so that they can escape price control. So that's why the regulator also notes in the report that hospitals and certainly the doctors are complicit in this whole nexus to some degree, are favoring medicines that are not regulated in order to make higher commissions and make more profits on these medicines.
No, that's right. They say doctors are complicit, but they say so are drug manufacturers. I don't think any one segment of this entire business can say it's not us. There, Dr. Tyagi says it's not doctors. You're saying it's doctors and it's not us.
Hey, may I interpret?
Yes, Dr. Tyagi, please come in.
See, yes, number one, who is deciding the price? Number one, who is deciding the price? Is it the doctor who decides the price? No. And who is managing the purchase and procurement of the drugs? There is a separate department in all corporate hospitals. It is working like an industry. There is a separate department in finance people who are managing the show. Whatever is being done between the pharmaceutical companies and the corporate hospitals. Because doctors are the face, so everybody thinks that we are also in the collision. But definitely no doctor is in the collision with this nexus. And unnecessarily we are being blamed, and that is the pain of the medical associations, that in spite of our all kindness of everything, we are taking care to give our services at the cheapest rate and to the needy persons. Even then we are being blamed for the things for which we are not responsible. We are not responsible at all.
No, Dr.
You
Tyagi,
just check what the system,
Dr. Tyagi,
how it works.
I am reading from the report.
Just let me complete. Yes, you are reading from the report. Let me say that this is a pharmaceutical industry, and the second industry is the corporate hospitals. See, the government is also is not able to control these two heads. If they can control the pharmaceutical, those who are putting the price, they don't have any control. Secondly, the hospital, who is directing, or the corporate, who is directing the industry.
The point is that the government tried. They made a list of scheduled drugs.
There has to be some mean, rather than...
Just a minute, sir.
The list of essential drugs is there, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Why are doctors prescribing from those?
But there has to be a system developed to check it. Why? See, listen to me. Doctors have no say. The hospital has purchased, they have some certain stock. They only give those drugs. Okay. Whatever you prescribe, they give the same drugs. See, you are making us unnecessarily a party to a nexus. This nexus we also oppose.
Okay.
Because so, this is Malini, distorting face of the medical fraternity.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And people suffer. People are suffering on a regular basis. It's giving a bad name to the entire fraternity. Malini, can you really say that, drug makers are not part of this? Because there are a couple of things that they have been charged with as per this report. And I'm going to read out another part where the report says this is a clear case of market distortion when manufacturers, after accounting for their profits,
of my question is why this pharmaceutical industry is not being controlled. Why the MRP is not being controlled even for the non-scheduled drugs? Why only for the essential drugs? See, all the drugs, there should be...
Okay. Yes, Malini Aisola.
See, doctor has no business to control the
rates. 1 minute, Dr. Tyagi.
The doctor has no business to control the procurement rate.
1 minute, Dr. Tyagi. 1 minute, Dr. Tyagi. Let her speak.
So, can I please finish my point?
Please.
There is definitely a nexus between the hospitals and the manufacturers, whether we're talking about drug manufacturers or medical device manufacturers. That is undeniable. But we cannot discount the role of the doctors as well, because if you go back to the MCI code, there is a clause that mandates doctors to prescribe in generic name, which they refuse to adhere to. In fact, there is a very deep opposition from the doctors for generic prescribing. But anyway, coming back to the report, because the main focus of this report is really the profiteering and the exploitation that hospitals are engaged in. I think what the NPPA report also does is that it is a direct, open appeal for policy intervention. And this is something that we are supporting. We're basically saying that there aren't enough regulations in place. And this is high time that the central government comes out with maybe a national authority backed by relevant legislation that can look into regulation of all aspects of healthcare costs.
You know, one question which comes to mind in the middle of this, and you know, if you go through the details of the report, it's really shocking. Everything is inflated at 900%. Something's inflated at 600%, 1100%. My question is, and I put this to both of you, there is a scheme which has been announced in this budget, and they're calling it Modi Care, where insurance companies will make sure that every family and every individual gets up to 5 lakh rupees insurance cover. Now, it's clear only government hospitals cannot take care of everyone's health purposes. Why should taxpayers pay for this scheme if at the end of the day it's going to go into the pockets of private hospitals and they will keep overcharging? Dr. Tyagi, you first.
See, I just want to pinpoint few whatever has been said. See, number one, this pricing has to be controlled. See, who is putting the price tag? The pharmaceutical company, and who is controlling the government or the NPPA? See, and there may be limitation to NPPA. Then the rules of the laws can be changed so that all the drugs can be capped. Number one. Number two, even for there is a very large hue and cry for the generic and non-generic drugs. But let me tell you, even the generic drugs cost is so much. Sometimes it is more than the branded drugs. Number two, who will ensure for the quality of the drug? See, our concern is that our patient should be all right. He should get the right medicine in the right dose, in the right bioavailability. See, that is ensured by a standard company. Samely, the generic drugs may not be monitored properly. They may not be of the same standard. And secondly, the pricing of the drug, whether it's a generic drug or the branded drug, is in hand of the government or in the NPPA.
Why
so
the big margins?
They are not putting a tag? Why they are not putting a cutoff of the price?
No, why the big margins? Malini, why the big margins?
Yes, and, that margin has to be slashed off.
Yeah,
that
margin, 500, 600% margins.
See, margin has to be slashed down.
Drugs,
there should be a reasonable...
Yeah, someone has to come in on this. There has to be intervention.
See,
but
MRP has to be at a reasonable profit.
Yes.
It cannot be 1700% or 900%.
It's ridiculous.
It should not be. We totally oppose it.
Yes, Malini,
we totally oppose it.
Malini, I want to have a concluding remark from you.
I support your statement.
from
but
you.
But at the same time, please don't put it on the head of the doctor.
I don't know if doctors can wash their hands off, even if they know what is happening in the hospital around them where they are working.
No,
can
no,
they really
no. See,
I
don't agree. Please, please.
One second, I just want a last
My question is, see, please listen to me.
Yes.
See, so, let me say one thing again.
So I'm going to go back to my point,
the price?
Which is,
all right,
who is fixing? Why don't you make the MRP a reasonable point?
Okay, you made that point, Dr. Tyagi. Yes,
sir, you've made that point many times.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to the main point, which is that we definitely need regulation. We need regulation of all sorts of charges. We need more expansive regulation on medicines, the cost of devices, consumables, and also on different aspects of healthcare delivery, which includes maybe procedure costs and other services that the hospitals provide. And without this kind of regulation, then universal health coverage, which is a promise of this government, is going to remain a distant dream. This is just not. It's just not sustainable in the current
Why would there be
system that
budgetary expenditure where you're giving cover to every Indian, and profits from that go into the pockets of private hospitals? How is this fair, and how is this allowed to happen, and why are enough people not talking about this? Is there a bigger story than this today? Well, we all have to ask ourselves that. Thank you so much, Dr. Tyagi and Malini, for speaking with us this evening on Primetime.